Hello and welcome to today's episode of the program, The Law of the People and Governance, here on Spectrum Television. Well, recently so many things have been happening. It's basically around the naira scarcity and of course fuel scarcity and a whole lot, coupled with the fact that election is just a few days away. It's less than, should I say, less than a week or a week to election, and we're still having these challenges, this issue on ground. While we are seeking to address this issue, well, today the president spoke to us concerning the naira scarcity, the redesigning policy, and how it has affected the people. Don't forget that he asked for 7 days to address this issue, and finally the president has addressed this issue this morning. So we're going to take a look at that, and also we're going to take a look at the reactions of people on this particular issue. Now, this program is a program that seeks to bridge the gap between the people and the government. It's a program that interprets government policies to the people and also takes the pains of the people to the government. Well, thanks for joining us once again. If you are viewing from anywhere, draw closer to your TV because we have to discuss something, and this is an issue that affects both you and I. Yesterday we had a lawyer, Barrister Martins, who came here and he was talking to us about the Supreme Court adjourning the ruling instead of giving us a judgment, which we all expected. They adjourned till 22nd February. So what does this hold for us? And just while we were saying, okay, fine, let's wait for the Supreme Courts, the president himself, should I say the main man, the man whom we all obey, spoke to us today. Well, so many persons are happy, while so many persons are also misunderstanding what he said. Well, we're trying to get it straight to the people. So in the course of this program, we'll make it clear what the president actually said. Did he say the whole notes? Did he say just 200 naira notes? We're going to discuss all of that today. How does this post to the people? Well, let's get your reactions as well. The phone number will be displayed on the screen so you can be part of this program. Meanwhile, we'll be joined virtually by Barrister Uwemomo and Barrister Martins Ukwe. So we'll talk about this issue. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, I'll tell you my name. Stay tuned.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
As Nigeria prepares for the general elections holding from 25th February 2023, broadcasters are enjoined to make ethical reportage their watchword. All political programs shall observe the provisions of the Nigeria Broadcasting Code and other extant laws relating to broadcasting. All broadcasting stations must adhere to the principles of pluralism and ensure equitable airtime to all political parties or views. All political programs shall adhere to the general principles of legality, decency, and truthfulness. For the avoidance of doubt, the broadcast of a political campaign, jingle, announcement, or any other form of partisan party identification or symbol ends not later than 24 hours before polling day. Hate speech is prohibited. Be professional. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting. Announcer Management.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abuse. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My Lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My Lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my Lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord. These cases are in court, my Lord. I'm just reminding your Lordship.
My Lord, sorry, my Lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
All right, so welcome to the program, The Law, the People and Governance here on Spectrum Television. My name is Rachel David White. So I told you we'll be joined virtually by two lawyers today who will tell us what this truly means, of course, from the judiciary angle. But just before that, let's take our time to listen to what the president says. Today we're going to explore the president's speech, and of course we're going to link it to what may likely come out from the Supreme Court when they decide to, give final verdict on this particular issue. Well, let's just get to listen to the president first.
During the extended phase of the deadline for currency swap, I listened to invaluable pieces of advice from well-meaning citizens and institutions across the nation. I similarly consulted widely with representatives of the state governors as well as the Council of State. Above all, as an administration that respects the rule of law, I have also noted that the subject matter is before the courts of our land and some pronouncements have been made. To further ease the supply pressures, particularly to our citizens, I have given approval to the CBN that the old 200 Naira banknote be released back into circulation, and that it should also be allowed to circulate as legal tender with the new 200 Naira, 500 Naira, and 1,000 Naira banknotes for 60 days from February 10th, 2023 to April 10th, 2023, when the old 200 Naira note ceases to be legal tender. In line with Section 20, subsection 3 of the CBN Act 2007, all existing old 1,000 Naira and 500 Naira notes remain redeemable at CBN and designated points. During the extended phase of the deadline for currency swap, I listened to invaluable pieces of advice from well-meaning citizens and institutions.
All right, so I hope we heard the president very well. Well, this morning I had an issue while coming, and then I get to understand that so many persons out there misunderstood the president's speech, thinking that both the the old notes and the new notes are supposed to coexist or run concurrently. And I tried to explain to them that 200 Naira alone was meant to recirculate not all money, but we had people having a strong conversation and a heated argument, trying to convince others to get to join them. Well, and I just hope that this broadcast go a long way to help those persons understand the president very well. Well, let's get to the main issue for the day as we invite our guests to join us. Good evening and welcome to you, Barrister. I can't really hear him, but I hope we're going to sort that issue out so you too can hear him. Meanwhile, let's get to understand what you feel about this. Just yesterday, we had angry youths burn down and destroy things at the banks. We had a protest here at CBN Udodoma Avenue in Akwa Ibom State. Also had places like Benin City where angry mobs destroyed so many things over there. And then just because of this issue, and I remember my last words were, when we destroy these things, it's going to affect us back. So why don't we wait? And today, the president has come to lift a little bit of that burden off our shoulders by saying, come on, let's go back and use the old 200 naira note, recirculate it side by side with a new 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira note. But the question is, Supreme Court's ruling. That's why we're speaking to a lawyer today. We hope we're going to find a correct answer to that question. Hello, Barrister Owem. We hear you. All right, so the question is, what does this pose? What does this mean? What do we expect when the Supreme Court finally sits? Are they going to say, remember that the Supreme Court moved to ban the CBN from enforcing the February 10th deadline, and the way supposed to address that issue yesterday. And just yesterday, when it was going to be a big decision-making day for Nigerians, they came out to say, come on, we're adjourning this ruling till 22nd, and we also had other states, as joined us in that particular suit. So the question now is, do we still wait for the judgment of the Supreme Court while the president has spoken? Does the Supreme Court have the right to, tell the president, no, we don't want just 200 naira, we want all the notes to be in circulation? That's the question we have for you today. And let's also get to find out how this has affected the people. Why didn't the president say, let's recirculate all the notes and allow them run? Why did he go to the most smaller denomination of the money to say, okay, fine, let's 200 naira, coexist with the new 200, 500 naira and 1,000 naira note? These are the things we seek to discuss on today's program. Well, let's try to sort out the issues so we can bring our guests on and talk properly on the show. Just stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Nigerian police force, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My Lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord. These cases are in court, my Lord. I'm just reminding your Lordship.
My Lord, sorry, my Lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigerian. From issues on politics,
Hello, Nigeria. I remain committed.
security, education, health, lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyakin every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
All right, welcome back to the show, the law of the people and governance. So we're taking a look at the president's speech and of course getting people's reactions as well. Yesterday we had so many callers calling us to express how they feel and of course getting to tell us what really happened and how the hardship is being felt there, how the effect of the redesigning policy and the CBN deadline, how it is affecting the people. I also got to witness myself that there were a whole long queue of people present at the CBN yesterday trying to deposit the old banknotes. And of course, many lamented that the policy or the order in which the CBN has given to them, the way in which they should return the money to the bank, the filling of forms and other requirements were too burdensome and stringent on them, and asked that things should be refixed, remake, decisions should be remade to favor the people as well. So we still have a Barrister Wem on the line, and I hope that he gets to hear us this time. Good evening, Barrister.
Good evening, Rachel.
All right, so if I can't hear you,
I'm not sure you can hear me.
we're still having this issue.
I can
hear you now. Good evening.
Okay, I can hear you now. Good evening, guys.
Yes, good evening, Rachel. Can you hear me? Hello, good evening, Rachel.
Yeah, I can hear you now, Barrister.
Yeah, I can hear you now, Barrister.
All right, go on. Hello. Please, are you there?
All right, so I think we're still having a little bit of technical issues. While we seek to address that issue, feel free to join us through the phone line displayed on the screen. Be a part of the conversation. Let's get to know your reaction. How do you feel about the decision of the president? How do you feel about the decision the president has made, returning the old new note or old Naira note, old 200 Naira to run alongside with the new 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1000 Naira banknotes? feel free to call the number displayed on your screen. Let's get to find out about this. And don't forget that we're still asking the question. The Supreme Court had adjourned their ruling to 22nd day of February 2023. Now, when the Supreme Court decides to sit by then, what will they say? What is going to be the ruling? And meanwhile, another question is the Supreme Court, or is the president higher than the Supreme Court's order in a democratic setting? That's another thing we seek to address today. So all of these issues are the issues on ground. That's why we have someone to talk to you today about that particular issue, a professional on that field. So just bear with us. Let's try to set up the technical issues we have so we can hear from him. Hello, Barrister. All right, so we're still having this issue. I'm sorry about that, but feel free to join us on a conversation. How do you feel? Are you excited? Are you okay? Does this, you know, to some extent leave the burden, the hardship off the shoulders of Nigerians, having to recirculate the 200 naira note, the old 200 naira note? How do you feel about this? Has that in a way helped you or addressed this particular situation? What would you have expected the president to do? Would you have expected him to say, fine, let's return all the old notes back in circulation? Now, don't forget that this redesigning policy as a whole was meant to address the issue of, vote buying, curbing unnecessary spendings by politicians during the elections. And has this redesigning policy helped in any way? Has it achieved the purposes in which it was meant for? Those are the questions we are asking ourselves today. So join the conversation. Let's talk about it. The number is displayed on your screen. And also, let's try to find out how can this issue, how can the president's speech, okay, how can it, bring, how does it, or let me put it this way, how has this issue brought back life to people? Now, those are the questions we are asking today. We'll go on a short break, try to fix the technical issue, and then we'll come right back. Just stay tuned.
As Nigeria prepares for the general elections holding from 25th February 2023, broadcasters are enjoined to make ethical reportage their watchword. All political programs shall observe the provisions of the Nigeria Broadcasting Code and other extant laws relating to broadcasting. All broadcasting stations must adhere to the principles of pluralism and ensure equitable airtime to all political parties or views. All political programs shall adhere to the general principles of legality, decency, and truthfulness. For the avoidance of doubt, the broadcast of a political campaign, jingle, announcement, or any other form of partisan party identification or symbol ends not later than 24 hours before polling day. Hate speech is prohibited. Be professional. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting. Announcer Management.
The Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abuse. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My Lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries?
A program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
All right, welcome back to the show. Well, it's still the program, The People, the Law, and of course, Governance. Let's get to find out what's happening. The government has made a policy. The CBN had made a policy to redesign the old new notes, 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira, respectively. And these new notes have been redesigned. Now, the CBN had stopped the old notes from circulating and gave extended the deadline to 10th of February. On the 10th of February, the CBN said the new, old notes are no longer legal tender. Now, this had posed a lot of problems to Nigerians, had put us Nigerians, yes, when I say us, it's because I am being affected as well. Now, it has put lots of Nigerians into hardship, into a tight corner. It has really pushed them to the wall. We get to find out people who are in the hospital yesterday. We had a caller about telling us that a man just lost his wife, and that's because a child rather, that's because he couldn't withdraw to pay hospital bills for the child, so the child was left unattended to. Now that's part of the cost of this deadline and cash redesigning policy issue. Now this is an issue. It has become a major issue to Nigerians. Also yesterday, when the Supreme Court was supposed to speak to us, they rather extended and adjourned the meeting, the ruling, to 22nd of February. Now that left us wondering, what are we supposed to do? And also forget that the president had asked that he'd be given 7 days to address the issue. Well, he's been kind enough to address that issue this morning, and what he said was the 200 naira, the old 200 naira note, should be back in circulation to run alongside the new 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira note, respectively, for 60 days, and that from the 10th of February to the 10th of March. What does that leave us at? Or do we still wait for the Supreme Court's ruling, or do we just accept what the president said? Of course, we have no choice. Let's take a call and find out. Hello, good evening. Thanks for joining us. All right, so we lost that call. We hope that you're going to try to call us back. The number is on the screen. Feel free to join the conversation. What has this done? Has it made you, how do you feel about this? Are you happy? Has it lifted a burden, the burden, that was pressed on our shoulder? Has it affected us positively in any way? Has it affected you positively in any way? Are you excited about it? Are you still feeling that the president should have allowed all the notes to run, all the old notes to run until maybe after election or something? Feel free to join the conversation. All right, let's take another call. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Please turn down the volume of your television set.
Hello.
All right, what's your name and where are you calling from? Okay, so we lost that call. Let's take another one. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. All right, so we'll just hold on. Maybe if time permits, we're going to take that call. Let's just see if we can hear or if the barrister can talk to us right now, if we can hear him. Welcome, and we're sorry for the whole issue, Barrister. I hope you can hear us, or we can hear you now. Okay, so I'm sorry, we're still having that difficulty hearing you, Barrister. Hope you can hear us. Okay, so he can hear us, and he can't really hear us from your end or from our end. Well, we can't really hear you. Okay, we can hear you. I don't know if you can't hear us. All right, so just drop the call and call us back. We can hear you loud and clear. All right, so sorry, we can hear you actually. I don't know if you can't hear us. So we'll just take another call. The numbers are on the screen, or the number is on the screen. Feel free to join the conversation. How do you feel about this? Are you excited? Do you think the president should have pushed further by allowing all the old notes to run concurrently with the new notes? What does this, what does this mean to the Supreme Court? Should we still wait for the Supreme Court? Do you think the Supreme Court will come to say, fine, the president should just allow the old notes, or do you think that order will be, respected, will be adhered to if it happens that way? Those are the things we need to find out on today's program. 0704-541-7707. Feel free to call us. Let's find out. Today we're still talking about the issue of redesigning of the new Naira note. All right, let's take this call. Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for joining us on the show. Tell us your name and your location.
Okay, my name is Mr. Godwin. I'm calling from South Africa.
All right, go ahead and talk to us.
Yes, actually, what is supposed to be done is advanced. What is supposed to be done is that the old currency is supposed to be allowed to remain in circulation, even if the new policy has been introduced.
Okay, when you say the old policy, the old currency, do you mean the whole 1,000 to 200 and 500 naira?
The 500 naira, the 1,000 naira is supposed to be allowed to circulate, to remain in circulation alongside the introduction of the policy.
But if
the money goes back to the commercial bank, it does not return back. That's why it's supposed to be done, so that it will be so flexible.
All right. All right, thank you for your contribution. Okay, so let's take another call. Let's find out what he's saying is otherwise. The president should have allowed the 500 naira and 1,000 naira to also remain with the new notes. All right, hello, good evening. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Okay, my name is Kayode from Kogi State.
All right, Kayode, go ahead.
What I I'm to say here is that I think the purpose of the redesigning of the Naira has been defeated, because each time the one that the Central Bank have produced, the politicians already hijack it also. Because you discover that when you go to bank, they are the ones that this money are still going to. Bank manager will call them to come and change their money. But it's the poor people that are suffering it. Because somebody has up to 50 million and they call bank manager to bring 45 million exchange. They will bring it. And we that want to collect, bank will tell you want to collect 2,000 naira. They will give you 2,000 naira. How can 2,000 buy in Nigeria now? Everybody is under hunger strike because you have money in the bank, you cannot buy anything. And those villages, they are buying things. They will not allow you to use cash transfer transaction. They will be expecting you to pay naira, to bring naira to buy. And it's the poor people that are still suffering it. So I didn't see that. Maybe this has not been defeated.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Kaya Day. Let's take another call. Hello. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on the show. Thank you, Kaya Day. Thank you.
Yes.
Hello. Good evening. Hello. Good evening. Hello. Good evening. Good evening. Fine, thank you. What's your name and where you're calling us from?
From Plateau State.
All right, talk to us.
My problem is about the issue the time giving.
Okay, the 60 days.
What about the people that living in the remote area? How there is no bank, there is no network, then how do we expect them to change that 500 and 1,000 now? When there is no network, there is no bank, and how will they do? And secondly, the decision that the Excellency took, is it with the Senate or is it his own decision alone?
Of course, if you listen to him, he said he had to take some advices. All right, thank you. Thank you for your question. Thank you. Well, let's see if we can take one more call before we wrap up the program. It's still the program, The Law, the People, and Governance here on Spectrum Television. We're sorry we couldn't bring a guest or get our guest to address this issue. But of course, you know that you as a viewer can also address this issue. How do you feel? Are you excited about it? Has it helped you in any way? Has it addressed any issue? Or has it defeated the reason or the purpose the whole policy was made for? Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Hello, good evening. Please turn down the volume of your TV set. Sorry about that. We'll still take just one call before we go. So, do you think that this has truly defeated the purpose of the redesigning? Yes. Do you think this has actually, defeated that reason? Wow, the reason the central bank said let's redesign to curb vote buying, to curb unnecessary spending by politicians, like our last caller just said, that this has actually defeated the purpose that policy was being meant for. Let's take one last call. Hello, good evening. All right, so we're sorry we wouldn't take those calls. I think network is really an issue today. We're sorry about that. We'll trust that next week is going to be a great one. Thank you so much for staying glued to your TV and for joining us on the program this week. Thank you so much for your calls, your comments, and contributions. And let's do this again next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on the program, The Law, the People, and Governance. Don't forget to join us and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. My name is Rachel David White. Good evening.